Vedavyasaya Namah. Om Vyam Vedavyasaya Namah. Om Vyam Vedavyasaya Namah. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Vrishabham Charshaninam Vishwarupam Padabhyam Brihaspatim Varenyam. Om Urdhvam Pranam Unnayati Apanam Pratyagasyati Madhye Vamanam Asinam Vishve Devaha Upasate. Om. So we'll do the Shanti mantra. Repeat after me. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so this class, the light, yeah. So till now, what have we seen? We know where in the which Upanishad it is, which branch of the Veda, and all of those things, where the Katopanishad is, and then the story, right? What is the story? The story starts. So I'm just going to recap. The story starts with what? Whose scene is this? The Upanishad is looking down, and it is telling us the situation of what is going on. It says, Ushan ha vai vajashravasah sarva vedasam dadau. So it is kind of, it's very famous. It has been very famous that Uddalaka, who is the Vajashravasa, is Uddalaka. Uddalaka is done with his life. What he's doing, sarva vedasam dadau means he is giving away everything. Whatever he has, and what's the wealth of a rishi? Cows, pashu, right? Pashu. And the pashu sampad is giving away, and then he's deciding to go to the forest. But then the Upanishad says, Ushan ha, right? What is the meaning of ha? What did I say last time?
Alas. No surprise.
Right. Yeah, in this case, it's surprise, right? But like I said, when you text, you say ha ha. It's all the same. It's a joke, right? So ha, hakara can be, ha is ha-hakara, that is pain, hakara, pleasure, and ha-ha is joke or a comedy, right? So hakara can be used those in all those ways. So then it's saying such a great rishi is going to forest, he's giving away everything, sarva vedasam dadau, but ha, what a surprise. Ushan, he is doing it with a desire to go to Swargaloka. And then it says, bigger surprise, what does it say? Tasya ha, Nachiketa nama, putra asa. What a surprise. To such a rishi, Nachiketa was his son. And what is the surprise? That the rishi, who is supposed to be a Mahajnani, has a desire for doing all of this. And Nachiketa, what is the meaning of the name Nachiketa?
Good for nothing.
What is it? Good for nothing, right? Nachiketa means good for nothing. So Uddalaka had how many kids? Two sons. Who was the eldest one? Shvetaketu. And Shvetaketu was, Uddalaka considered him, a big, very talented, right? So he sent, and that's the Chandogya Upanishad, where he sent his son to Gurukula. And then when he comes after 12 years of Gurukula, he comes with a lot of ego. And then, that's where the Tattvamasi and all of those things come, right? So that Shvetaketu was very talented. But then when he came back with a lot of ego. Nachiketa looked like a waste person, right? He did not, he was always sitting without doing anything, always seemed bored. But what the Upanishad says is Nachiketa was the one that had the inner growth, even though he did not show it outside. So that's Tasyaha, such a person, such a rishi had Nachiketa as his son. Right? Tasyaha Nachiketa nama putra asa. And then it is kind of, it is locating the situation. So these were these two famous incident where he had this son who was famous. And then it says, what does it say? It says, Tamha kumaram santam dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha so manyata. So it is said, the story now that is Upanishad is telling us is, when such a great Nachiketa was a Kumara, was a boy, then he saw this scene. And that's where the Upanishad starts. And what is the scene he's seeing? What is the scene he's seeing? What is that? What is he seeing? What is his father doing?
His father is giving away all useless cows and as dana.
Yeah, so he is doing danam. So the letter of the principle, but not the spirit of it. So it says you have to give away. So he's giving away. But what is he giving away? What is the description? So this boy is looking at this. He's 8 to 10 years old, and he's looking at his father. And what is he's doing? He's giving away all of this. But this is not considered a donation or charity in any sense. Why? Because what is he giving away? Pitodaka. That means they've already drunk the water of the, there's nothing else. They cannot even drink. They'll fall down. And then Jagdatruna. That means they've eaten their part of their portion of the grass. There's nothing. They don't have any ability to eat anymore. Dugdha doha. They have given away all the milk they could. No other milk is available. Right? And then Nirindriya. Nirindriya means there'll be no calf from these cows. It's gone. Right? That means basically when they take it, it's going to die. It is of no use to anybody. Right? So that is the kind of gift my father is giving. He is hoping to go to Swargaloka. But what happens? The boy is thinking, Ananda namate loka. What does it say? Ananda namate loka. Namate loka. Tan sagachati sa dadate. That means it's not heaven they are going. It's not to Swargaloka they are going. They are going to Ananda. Nandana loka means where you have happiness. Ananda means where there is no happiness, which is Naraka loka. Ananda namate loka. Tan, whoever, sagachat, tadadat. That means whoever gives those things, they are going to land in hell, not in heaven. So what is he thinking now? He's saying, I need to show my father why he's doing wrong without telling him, because I'm a boy, he's my father, is a great rishi. I cannot say you are doing wrong. So some other indirect way, I have to tell him that he is doing something wrong, right? So that he understands. So that is the scene, right? Then if you go to Taittiriya Brahmana, what does it say? No, not Taittiriya Brahmana. In the Mahabharata, Mahabharata gives the reason. I said, how do these stories work? So all of these different parts of the stories are spread around in Mahabharata, Purana. No two stories are the same. Like when you read the stories, it's like, oh, they're saying something. This is saying something else, right? And I gave you the example of H.H. Wilson. He's the one who translated a lot of Vishnu Purana and all these Puranas. And when you read his translations, in the footnotes, he's like, oh, there is this story is different from, Skanda Purana story. This is from, so that means there is a lot of corruption, right? So that is what he says. But the thing is, what he has not understood is within the Hindu tradition, why would you have the same stories in two books? Doesn't serve any purpose. Even when they are same stories in two books, the names are different. Like one of the Ramayana, I was reading somewhere, the Ramayana incident where Rama and Hanuman come together, they hug, in the Sundarakanda. In one of the books, I don't know if it is one of the Puranas, it says Rama and Lakshmana hug each other.
On seeing Hanuman.
The Hanuman is called Lakshmana. in that one. So it's a Lakshmana. So they say, oh, did he hug Hanuman or did he hug Lakshmana? So then, oh, Lakshmana Nama, Hanuman has another name. The etymological sense of Lakshmana, he applies to Hanuman also, right? So that if you know that, then you know, oh, okay, there's no conflict here. There's no contradictions or conflict. You have to dig deep into why it is asking, saying all of these things. So even, if you look at the list of the Ekadasha Rudras, every Purana has a different name for the different Rudras. One of them says Bhima is one of the Rudras, and then you think Bhima is this Bhima of Pandavas, but that's not the Bhima. Right? So you have to see who those names are and what they are referring to. It's the same list, but each of the Puranas gives each different names. Right? So when you know that these are complementing each other, sometimes they're adding more fragments to the story. So once you know, when you do a survey of all the literature, then you know the full story, background story, like, prequel, sequel, that all idea is in Purana. Purana storytelling is like filmmaking, right? It's all of these prequels, everything is there. Mahabharata tells you the prequel. Why was Uddalaka angry? I briefly mentioned in the second class, in the last class, right? So in that class, in Mahabharata, it says that Uddalaka that day had gone for a river bath in the river, and he had forgotten his the bath pot. So when he came back, he told Nachiketa, go bring that bath pot. Right? That story is not there in the Upanishad. It's not there in the Taittiriya Brahmana, only in the Mahabharata. And then Nachiketa went, and then he either it was kind of washed away by the river, or he did not find it. He comes back and tells his father, I did not find the bath pot. It has gone away. So he was very angry. So in his estimation, Nachiketa was a useless fellow. He thought, I gave him one simple task. He could not even go bring that pot. What a useless fellow. So he was very angry with that. And then the other thing Mahabharata says is Bubukshi. That means he was very hungry at that time. So those two combined with this person is annoying him. Like, when a small boy, and it's happened to us, when they come and like when adults are speaking, when small boy comes or our kids come and ask, they want to be involved in it, what do we say? Get out, none of your business, right? So that is exactly what's happened. So when Shvetaketu comes, he's saying, who will you give me to? With the intention that at least indirectly, a couple of intentions here. Indirectly, my father comes to know that his whatever he's doing, it's not going to land him in a good place. One. Two, at least if you give me away, I will be useful. Even though you think I'm useless, I will be useful. So at least that will give you good punya. Even though the Sarvasva Dakshina, the yajna that he was doing, was only for wealth giving, not kids giving, right? But he wanted to he put himself there. Who will you give me to? And this, Uddalaka is already hungry and angry, right? Hangry. And so this boy is like, I'm doing all these big things, and this small boy is coming and saying, who will you give me to? Dvitiyam. So second time he asks, third time he asks, and he gets very angry. So he says, I'll give you to death. Even though it's like, when we say something, right? Get out of the home or something we say, we don't really mean it. We just, it's a way of saying, get out. So he said, I'll give you to Yama. But then he's a Maharishi, right? He's a Brahmagnani. So he is angry, hangry, and he said this. So those words will become true. And so Nachiketa wanted to make those words true. So what he did, okay, you want me to go to Yama's house, even though Uddalaka did not mean that, I will make those words true and I will go. And the Taittiriya Brahmana says that the yoga bala that he had, he gives up voluntarily, he gives up his body. That means he dies and then goes. So one of the things, right? There's a lot of confusion within If you read many books about Katopanishad, some of them they imply that he just went Sasharira. That will never happen. Who was it that tried to enter Devaloka Sasharira? Was left hanging. Trishanku, right? Trishanku wanted to go to heaven, to Indra, the Indraloka, Devaloka, with this body. And Vishwamitra promises him, I will take you there, right? And he does all of these things. And then he sends him Sasharira. Then the Devas will kick him. So he is neither up nor down. He cannot come to Bhuloka. He is not able to enter Swargaloka. So Trishanku Swarga. So he creates a Trishanku Swarga just for Trishanku. Right? So you can never go to Swargaloka or even Narkaloka with Parthiva Sharira. You cannot. So all those interpretations and all the things that you might see where it says the boy just walked to Yamaloka, that is not correct. Because you have to go with your Sukshma Sharira, you cannot go with your Stula Sharira, right? So you cannot go Sasharira, you have to go with Sukshma Sharira. So that's what happened, that he gave up his body and then he went to Yamaloka. Again, his life has not ended. Yamabhrutyas did not come to take him. He voluntarily has gone, right? Even though he has died, he has gone himself to make his father's words true, right? And then what is he thinking? When his father says, I'll give you to Yama, what very beautiful, it says, Bahunam emi pratamo, Bahunam emi madhyamaha, kim svid yamasya kartavyam, yanmaya adya karishyati. That means, this one is also useless gift. At least my father would have done something nice because I would have gone and worked. But even this gift that he gave away to Yama, it's also useless. Why? Bahunam emi pratamaha. For people who have not died yet, I am the first one to go. I am the mukhyastha, right? I am the first one to go to Yamaloka. Bahunam emi madhyamaha. That means there's people have died before me, and people are going to die after me, and I'll be going in the midst of them. Madhyamaha. Kim's with Yamasya kartavyam. What does Yama want from me? I mean, he already has all these servants. Everything is there for Yamaloka. In Yamaloka, what can I do? This is again a useless gift. But I will make it true and I'll go to Yamaloka. So when his father says, go to Yama, that is what he's thinking. Oh, even this one, at least if you had told somebody that needed me, at least I would have gone and served there so that you could have got Punya Karma. So what does it say? It says, what? Dana needs three things. Desha, Kala, Patra. So whenever you give, when you're doing Annadana, if you do Annadana from somebody who's already full, now Punya happens, right? That means there should be Patra. That means there should be a need on the other side and you should give that. It is summer and you give a thick jacket.
So that means why what is happening in the temple, that is not.
We are recording it. No, I mean, it's a good thing also, right? I mean, Annadana is good, but for it to make the impact, that Annadana should be given to those who are hungry, right? The hungry, that means people who are needy need it. That is the dana that is impactful, right? Desha, as in the place, that means what? The place where it's hot, if you give a sweater, right? Or when we do spring cleaning, let me give it as a gift, re-gifting, right? I got a very useless gift, I give that same. I don't even open the cover, right? Give it away. Those things are Adesha, Akala, Apatradana. Apatradana is basically those who do not need it, you're forcefully giving it just to say, I have given it, check mark, right? That is Apatradana, right? So here, Adesha, Akala, Apatra, all the three. And the boy is thinking, what is my usefulness to Yama? It's useless. But still, I will make the words true. I'll try to see how useful I can become to Yama. And then the next fragment, prequel, Taittiriya Brahmana tells you the story where when the boy has died, then he's walking to Yamaloka. Then Vagdevi comes and says to the boy, when you go to Yamaloka, don't eat, Yama will not be there. Again, these are all his vision. right? There's no, why will Yama go from his, his place? But it will seem to you like Yama is not there. And then do not take anything for 3 days. And then when Yama comes back, he's going to give you 3 boons and then ask these 3 boons, right? The suggestion that Vagdevi gives to this boy, and then the boy goes, right? So then with the boy, and then it says in the Taittiriya Brahmana that he goes, and the Yama Patni, which is Shyamala, so she offers, what is the offering? Shodasha Upachara is, but first offering is what?
Water.
Water. What is water? There are 3. It is Arghya, Padya, Achamaniya. That means when somebody comes, give water means 3 things. To wash their hands, it is called Arghya. To wash their feet, it is called Padya, which is give the water to drink, which is Achamaniya. So 3 things you have to drink, right? So that is but he does not even know Arghya, Padya, Achamaniya, nothing. He says, until Yama comes back, I will not take anything. So that is the situation we had stopped. Any questions until now? Nothing? Okay, so yeah, so this is the 7th one. Vaishwanaraha pravishati atithir brahmano gruhan tasyaitam shantim kurvanti haravaivasvatodakam. So what has happened now? 3 days have passed. Yama has come back. And that's his vision, that Nachiketa's vision. Yama has come back after 3 days. Shyamala is telling Yama, he has not eaten anything, he has not taken anything. For 3 days, he's been waiting for you to come back. So and then what she's telling, she's very upset that the boy is hungry for 3 days in our house as our guest. The one who is invited, what is it called? Is he an invited guest or an uninvited guest? What is the Samskrita name for uninvited guest? Abhyagata. Not Atithi. Abhyagata is those who are already, you are expecting them to come. When you send the invitation, invite, and the person comes, that is Abhyagata. They are not Atithi, because you already expect them to come. You would have cooked for 25 people. That is one of the 25. Suddenly I come to your house, you have not invited me, but I crash your party. I am the Atithi. Right? So that means Abhyagatas are invited guests. Uninvited people that show up are Atithis. And last time I explained what Atithi Devo Bhava, what is the usefulness of that? In the situation of ancient India.
To promote travel.
For when people were traveling from one place to another, like they would go from a village to a village, right? Village to village, another. And so was there a lodging? 7-Eleven or what is that? Motel, all motels, nothing was there. No restaurants, IHOP 24/7 is not there. What would they eat? What would they do for lodging and boarding? They would go to somebody's house. And why would they take them? Atithi Devo Bhava. Atithi Devo Bhava that is what made travel possible in ancient times. Otherwise, if nobody would have entertained people in their house, no travel would have been possible. People would go with 1 day's food, eat, and then they go to a village where somebody is going to provide them. Not just that. And it is said that they would keep buttermilk and panaka, juice, outside during summer. We would see that I remember growing up in Bangalore and in so many cities. Panakas would be there during summer. Ram Navami was a big thing. The panakas, we would just run to a store would have that. We would run and have panakas, and then during school breaks, and then go back. Yeah, village. Yeah, Bangalore, no.
I don't think villages.
Yeah, we go to Pepsi, Coke. That's what is right. Yeah, Majjige, which is your buttermilk. And then juice. The people used to keep all of that. This is all Atithi Satkara. That means people who are traveling or summer, they are thirsty, they just go and have the buttermilk and juice and then leave. Right?
In Kerala, even today this tradition is there, but it happens only during the temple festival time.
Yeah.
When Trishur, Puram, all those things are there, even they do, but only during those times.
Yeah. But in the olden times, when summer started, everybody would do that. They would keep a pot. It would be in a pot, so it would be cold. You know, there'd be water, there would be juice, buttermilk. So people would just go and drink and go. Now they'll shoot. At least that's not there in India yet.
And
But
you don't know what is in the juice.
or you don't know. Now you have to think, oh my goodness, I don't know what is inside, right? So see, it was such the times are so different, right? It's innocence. It's it's doing good for others. It's all built in, right? And it's all based on what? Atithi Devo Bhava. That is Atithi Devo Bhava, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense, right? If you invite a guest, they would have already eaten, or it's not like I'm hungry, right? So that is not Atithi Devo Bhava. That's Abhyagata. Atithi is the one who is truly hungry, who's going from places to places, thirsty. They need something. They'll come, boarding and lodging in the house. That is the Atithi Devo Bhava, right? So what Shyamala is saying to Yama, so Yama has come back after 3 days. Shyamala is telling him, this boy is in the house for 3 days, has not eaten or has not taken any water for 3 days. What happens in such a case? Shyamala is explaining to Yama. So Shyamala says, Vaishvanaraha pravishati atithi brahmano grihan. That means when somebody who's thirsty or really hungry, right? Not abhyagata, but atithi comes home, fire comes with them. That means the belly, right? Vaishvanara is the belly fire. That's the fire of hunger. That fire of hunger comes home with the atithi. See, atithi, you can have 2 etymologies. One is atithi, those who come uninvited. Tithi, that means it's not specific. It can be any day. They just come in. That is atithi. The other one is ati. Ati means too much, right? Ati tham. Tham is in Sanskrita food. That means extreme hunger. Those who have come with extreme hunger, they're also called atithi. So that means those who have come with extreme hunger, they bring fire with them. Vaishvanara fire. That is the fire of the belly. So Brahman, in this case, Brahmana is Brahmagnani. It's not some ordinary fellow. This person is a Brahmagnani because Devatas know what the inner development of this Nachiketa is. Such a person, such a boy, and he's a boy. He's come on his own here. He's not taken anything. The fire that is raging in his belly, that he's fasting, that is the fire that's going to destroy us. Right? So what does she say? Tassaitam shanti kurvanti hara vaivasvata udakam. Udakam hara vaivasvata. Who is vaivasvata? Yama. Right? What is Yama's last name? Vaivasvata.
Son of Shiva.
Vivasvan. Vivasvan means sun. Sun, Suryadeva. So Suryadeva's son is Yama. So he was Vaivasvata. Yama Vaivasvata. Yama is like they say in movies, right? I have another name. What is my other? Oh, Karthik knows. People call me Yama, but I have another name. What is it? But it's the other one. So Yama is the bad one, right? So Yama is Yama has 2 forms. One is in Swarga, one is in Narka. Okay. What is the Yama that is the gatekeeper of Swarga?
Yama Dharma.
Dharma, correct. So Dharma is the good guy. I have another name. He is the Lord of the hell. So whenever you say Yama, Yama is the Lord of the hell. Or Narkaloka. Dharma is the form, his like smiling good form is Dharma that takes people to Swargaloka. But his Ugra Rupa, Ghora Rupa is Yama Rupa. That when you see, that's it. Right? That's Ugra form. So that is the Lord of the Narakalokas. See, he is the judge. in the Hindu Dharma, who is the judge? Yama is the judge, right? Chitragupta. You have heard about Chitra and Chitragupta, right? That after death, they're going to do this much punya, this much papa, and all of that. So judge. The concept is there in Abrahamic religions. The judgment day. It's nothing but this concept. After death, there is a judgment. In that case, the God is judging, right? In this case, Yama is judging. And the judgment happens every death. Right? Whether you go to Swargaloka or Narakaloka, Yama with his assistant Chitragupta, they will tell you what all of your patti, your list. You did this, you did this, you did this. All of that patti will come down. You did all of these things. You are going back. Right? After death, what happens? Garuda Purana is the jiva is taken quickly for judgment and then comes back again. Right? And then 13 days, all the karyas that happen, 13th day, you get the full body. It's called as Yatana Sharira, right? You don't have any body in that sense. It's an airy body. So this is Parthiva Sharira. You get Vayavya Sharira. That means it's airy body. So that's why, in movies when ghost, there's a wind blowing, right? Which is correct. That is how it is. It's airy body. So they get the Yatana Sharira. And after 13 days, after the end of 12 days, they leave back to the journey. And that journey is going to be? No, it can be anything. Swarga, Naraka, whatever it is. But that journey takes how long?
1 year.
1 day.
1 day.
Why 1 day? Correct.
Ah.
1 day of the Devas.
Is 1 year for us.
1 year for us. Why do all the Pitru Karyas are every year? Because it's every day for the Devatas. Right? So in the first you do every month. Why?
Because
Every month is a day for the Pitrus. I explained like last time. Right? Pitrus, one day of the Pitrus is 1 month, Masa of humans. Shukla Paksha is the daytime, Krishna Paksha is the nighttime. 1 year of the Manushyas is 1 day of the Devatas. Uttarayana is the day, Dakshina is the nighttime. So that's how it is. So 360 years would be 1 year of the Devatas. For us, it is 360 years. Right? Like that. So that means 360 months is how many years? 30 years. Shani going around the whole Rashi is 30 years. That is 1 year of the Pitrus. 30 years of humans is 1 year of the Pitrus. So the yearly thing is basically daily. For the Devatas, it's a daily thing. For the Manushyas, it's an annual thing. Right? So, I was telling something. Vayavi Sharira. What was I telling?
Yama is. You're talking about the Niki.
Dharma Raja, right? So that is the Yama. So the judge, right? The judgment day. So that is the one. So when they go first, the first journey is quick journey. The second journey after the 12th day, 13th day, that journey is 1 year journey for us, 1 year journey. That quick journey is a judgment journey. It's like where the Chitragupta is, it's our vision. Think of dreams, right? It's not like, it's some story, right? No, it is like, we feel like this is happening in our dreams. Dream is our Sukshma Loka, right? Whatever we have in dream, that's the Sukshma Loka. So in the dream, it feels like in the dream, somebody is looking at, his Ugra form. They are saying all of these things. And then suddenly when we wake up next, what is happening? The nurse is holding us upside down and we are crying. That's the next birth. Right? So that's how it is, right? So he has gone, there is no judgment here. He's gone directly to Yama's house. So he's gone there and he stayed there. And then, Shamala is saying, when a guest, Atiti comes home, stays hungry, the fire in their belly, the Vaishwanara, that fire is going to destroy. Right? So she says, Vaishvanaraha pravishati atithir brahmano grihan tasyaitam shanti kurvanti hara vaivasvatodakam. Shanti, that means it's like the metaphorical way. Fire needs to be calmed or put off. Take the water. So why are you doing that? Arghya, Padya, Achamaniya? Calm the fire. It's a fire, so water needs to calm it down. Right? Udakam hara vaivasvata. Hey, take this and go quickly to this boy so that fire in his belly is put off. That's what she says, right? So that is, and then she continues. And then I'll explain this concept, right? And she continues, what happens when somebody comes home hungry? And, again, see, in Vedanta, a death of a mosquito is different from a death of a human being, right? Because it's the level of development, right? So a mosquito killed it's not a papa karma. A human killed would be a huge papa karma. Again, the levels, a villain being killed, but a great jnani being killed is completely different, right? So killing is it's not the same. Who, where, why, all of those things come, right? A jnani, when he's killed, the repercussions of that's why it's called Brahma Hatya dosha. That means the repercussions is too much. Because somebody who is useful to the community, when that person is extinguished, that papa karma attaches in a very big way. That's called as Drida karma. In Jyotishya, there are 3 kinds of karmas. Karthik, what are the 3 kinds of karmas? Drida karma. So whatever we have done in our past lives, there are 3 kinds of consequences that come through, that it's shown in your chart. Adrida karma means what? That means it's a light. What is that? Misdemeanor. You take one test, it goes away, right? Same thing. The misdemeanor, you do some homas, do mantra japa, and whenever they say that, you chant this, it will go away. When it is a adrida karma, it goes away. Right? When it is drida karma, that means it takes, do this for 40 days. And then, you should not eat this, or you should fast for this many days. So where it is much more stricter and harder to get rid of it, if at all, that becomes drida karma. That means you can lose the karma, you can burn the karma, but it needs a lot of sadhana, hard sadhana to do that. Drida karma means where you have killed a jnani, where you have done like such a bad thing, hurt to the world, genocides and all of these things that we have done, that becomes drida karma. No homa, no nothing will change anything. That means that drida karma can be burned by only experiencing. If you're going through bad times, nothing can be done about it, then the only thing is accept it. Nothing can be done about it. That is called drida karma. Because it is so strong, the previous life's karma is. Whatever you do, it might make it easier for you to experience it, but it will not stop that from happening. Right? That is called as drida karma. So there are 3 kinds of karma. So here, what kinds of karma happens when Vaishvanara, that means the fire of the belly, comes home? Right now, we are not seeing this as a person. We are seeing this as a human being. Right? It's not Nachiketa or anything. When a human being comes, all the devatas, see, in medicine, you'll call it a function of the eye and function of the heart and all of that. Basically, when you go to Vedanta, these are the work of the devatas. The function of the eye is nothing but the work of Surya Deva. The function in the hunger is nothing but Agni Deva. Right? The mind, working of the mind is that work of Chandra Deva. So all the devatas are already always working within us. Physically, we see that the work of the organs, right? Like we have a causal, all the connections are there and all that. But then behind that, the conscious entity that is causing these things to happen is Surya Deva, Chandra Deva. These are called as the Abhimani Devatas. Surya Deva is Abhimani of, Chakshus, vision. Chandra Deva for manas, Agni Deva for walk, right? All of these things. So all the devatas are Shaktis are the one that are causing all of the things to work in the body. Right? So whenever somebody comes, regardless of whether we know that person, we don't know the person, he's our friend, he's enemy, he's neutral, devatas are coming in. That is the conception of the ancients. Whoever you may be, you are a particular instance of a human. And to be human is to have all the devatas within him. When somebody is hungry, whether he is a bad person, good person, Agni Deva is wanting havis, to be poor. So that is how they conceived. That it's not like because Bhavesh comes, or Krishnan comes. That is not why we are feeding. Because Agni Deva is coming, it's feeding. It doesn't matter whether it's you or somebody else. Right? That was the conception. Somebody comes, especially when it's Atithi, that is all the devatas are coming in. So those devatas, you're not treating you well, you're treating the devatas well, right? They are the guests. The guests are the devatas that are coming, right? That's the Atithi Devo Bhava. So when they come in and they are not offered, Shyamala is telling Yama what happens, right? She's saying, Asha Pratikshe Sangatam Sunrutam Cha Ishtapurte Putra Pashumscha Sarvan Etat Vrinte Purushasya Alpamedasaha Yasya Anashnan Vasati Brahmano Grihe. Brahmano Grihe means if somebody is a Brahmagnani and he comes hungry or he stays in our house hungry, untreated, unhonored, what happens? All of these will be destroyed. It says, what is all of these? Asha. What is Asha? Desire. Right? In Kannada, it's Ase. Asha in Sanskrit is, we say, I think Hindi, Asha is hope, I think. Right? That's not the right meaning. Asha in Sanskrit is desire. Whatever we are desiring to have, right? That is Asha. Pratiksha is something we are looking forward to. Something good is, next year I'm going to buy something. This thing, my son is going to graduate. We are looking forward to something. That is called pratiksha. Right? So these are concepts in the Hindu traditions. Asha pratiksha. That means desires to get something. Pratiksha is something we are looking forward to happening in our lives in the future. So that these two, that will get destroyed. The fire is going to burn all of this, right? Because all of these are coming through our punya, and that fire is burning that punya. Right? The fire of hunger of that, Brahmagnani who is hungry in the house, that fire is not in his belly. That fire, Agni Deva, is burning our punya karma that we have. And that punya karma would have given us those desires, given us those things that we look forward to. Everything is getting destroyed. And what does he say? She say, Asha Pratikshe. That is also gone. What we look forward is not going to happen. Then Sangatang Sunratam Cha. What is Sangata? That means Satsanga. That means the friendship of good people. They will not even look towards you. Right? They're like, go away. Who you will land up, the company that you will keep is people who are useless and waste. Sangata is punya. So each one of this is a punya. Sangata is a punya. That means having good friends is a punya karma. Our previous punya karma results in the company that you're going to keep. Why? Because that's who you are going to become. Right? That is called Sangata. So Sangata punya is what? The good company that you're going to get through that punya is Sangata. Then Sunratamcha. Sunrata is people who give you the positive vibes, right? When you meet somebody, you come energized. Oh wow, they gave us that inspiration to do. I want to go do some more, right? That is Sunrata. That means good positive vibes. They speak. When they speak, you are energized. You are going to, that comes from your Purakrita Punya. That is gone, which means what? Whoever you are going to be with, they will bring you down. They will criticize. They will, you will feel like exhausted and empty after you have met them. That is the kind of people you are going to hang out with. When that punya is not there, You're not going to have the company of good friends. You're not going to have positive vibes in the people, the way people talk to you. Right? All of these are punya. So that fire is going to burn these punya. Shamala is telling Yama, right? That punya will be gone. Cha ishtapurti. Ishtapurte putra pashumsta sarvam. So in the Hindu traditions, there is a concept called Ishtakarma, Purtakarma. 2 karmas. So it's 6 different karmas. Ishtakarma is what we call nowadays we call it self-help. Something good that will improve you or grow you. That is called as Ishtakarma. Purtakarma is something good you can do for the society. That is Purta, like community good, like HTW outreach or whatever Bhavesh is doing, right? EYS. So all of those things are Purtakarma. That means you're doing it for the good of the community. That is Purtakarma. Something for your own growth and improvement, that is Ishtakarma. So it says Shad karmas are there. For the Ishtakarma, it's this one, Agnihotra. Every day that Homa they do, Agnihotra karma. So that is Ishtakarma. That is for your own good. Tapa. What is tapa? Tapas.
Willful austerity. Willful austerity.
See, tapa, and I've mentioned this many times. See, tapa can mean deep thinking. Tapa is the austerity. For us nowadays, whenever there is a festival, what happens? It is an opportunity and occasion to eat and dance. Is that tapas? That is the opposite of tapas. Tapas means you fast, you take very hard austerities, right? I will not eat until this, I'll give up this. A festival is supposed to be like that. Right? So that is tapa. Tapa means when you give up something, and that giving up disciplines you, right? You have the discipline. When you give up, you fast, or you do some austerities, some vratas, all of these things, all the vratas, Ganesha vrata, all of these different vratas that we have. It is a vrata. Vrata is what? It is an undertaking that you said every year. You don't have to do every vrata. You say, I undertake in our house. The tradition is we undertake Ganapati vrata. Ananta Padmanabha vrata. So there'll be like 2 or 3 vratas in the whole year. Not everybody would do everything, right? So because you cannot. So you take, okay, Ganesha vrata. Okay, Ganesha vrata means that's the vrata, which is, you have taken, I take this, the promise, the vrata, that every year on Bhadrapada Shukla Chaturthi, I do Ganesha vrata. I fast, I do all of these things. That is fine. Every year you have to do. That is a vrata. Vrata means you have to keep doing. That is generations. Abhyasa, that means it's a practice. Every year, that one, Ananta Padmanabha. So again, that is, each vrata will have its own rules and all of those things. So that's a vrata. What does the vrata require of us? Not eating. Vrata means what is the hard thing you are doing as part of that. Right? It's not eating and dancing, that's a different thing. Vrata means, are you fasting? Are you taking on something hard? That means that you have to do a hard thing, like, Navaratri. Are you fasting for Navaratri, right? Are you doing Devi Puja? Or that is a vrata. Ramadan is a vrata, right? It's not just Hindus, right? Anything anybody undertakes where it's not normal, where you disrupt the normalcy, right? Silence retreat. You're not talking for a week. That is a vrata, right? And it can be a part of a festival, right? It cannot, you don't need to go to some guru. Silence retreat can be a part of some vrata that you can do, which is you're breaking away from the normal. Ekadashi vrata, very important vrata. And it's not once a year, right? Ekadashi is once a paksha, right? Twice a month. So you undertake that vrata, that means on that day, I don't eat, or I don't eat something. So all of this, right? That is a vrata. A vrata is a discipline. That is tapa. What happens with that tapa? It grows you as a person. Right? That's tapa. right? So that is Agnihotra, Tapa, Satyam, honesty and straightforwardness in all our dealings. That is one. That is the Ishtakarma. Being that and doing that, integrity, truthfulness, honesty, all of those come under Satya. And then Atithya. This is Atithya. That means doing something for somebody who is hungry or thirsty or or needing food. That is Atithya. And it need not be, see, I said, the spirit needs to be, what is the concept of Sankhya? Body changes. The jiva is the same, right? In the second chapter of the Gita. And when you translate that into the world, what does it mean? It means these festivals, or these karmas, you have to keep the integrity of the spirit of that karma. How you do it might change with times. So if in the olden days, putting the food for somebody who is hungry, you bring him home and then feed, that was relevant in that context. Now you don't know if they are carrying gun, right? Now how do you translate the spirit? The times have changed. The social situations have changed. Now there's so many ways to give food to the hungry, right? What is it called?
Put on wheels.
Oh yeah, meals on
Meals
wheels,
on
right?
wheels.
Meals on wheels and all the things. That temple is also involved, right? So there is a once a year or a couple of times a year. That becomes one of the things. Atithya. Temple does it. We do it as people. We should do it. That's Atithya.
Atithya is Ishtakarma or Purtakarma?
Ishtakarma. Atithi, that means they're coming to your house. So that becomes Ishtakarma. Right? So that is Atithya. And then Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means always learning. You're always in the journey of learning things. That's also Ishtakarma. And Deva Pujanam. Right? All the pujas that you do, the Devatas, Homa Karma, all of those things, the special vratas and all of that comes under. So these are Shad Ishtakarmas. That means when you do these 6 regularly, you are improving yourself. You're creating punya. But when this happens, the creation of the punya, the storehouse, that will be burnt away by this Vaishvanara. Especially when that is a Mahajnani who is, he's hungry, right? That is going to destroy Yama Dharma. And then what is Purta Karma? As the people in society, we have a duty to improve ourselves through our Ishtakarmas and a duty to give to the community. That is called Purta Karma. And in the Arthashastra, Chanakya Arthashastra, it's all, it's there. What is a Raja? Raja has a Purta Karma. What does it say? Kupa, Vapi, Tataka, right? And then it's Arama. So all of these things. What Kupa means? You have to build wells. If you look at somebody, people's last name in villages and all of that, there is I forget the name, a well builder. It will be the last name. Kupakar, Kamalakar is one. So if you have seen Kamalakar, somebody in his lineage have built a lake for community. That's why they got the last name Kamalakara. Right? So lake, Kamalakara means a lake. That means what is lake? It means for bathing, all of those things, right? Animals to come and drink water. This is what? Artificial lake. It's building a lake. So it's not only in woodlands they're digging up lake. Even olden times they would dig lake and fill it with water and all of that, right? So that is called as this one, Tataka. So last names would say that they have built Kupa, or they have built a Vapi or a Tataka. What is a Kupa? It's that small well where you put the pot and get the water, right? So that is but in the house it is for us. They would build public wells for people to take, to get water. So people who did that, they were doing their Purta Karmas. That's a punya. That's a punya for them. That is Kupa. What is Vapi? The step wells. They would have all of these many steps. I think in Rajasthan and all.
Gujarat has one.
Gujarat has all of them, right? So kings and wealthy people would build for public consumption Vapi. That means it's a well with steps, right? It would fill, then you'll go, as it goes down, the water goes down, you can go down all the way down to get the water. That was called Vapi. So even though many places, everything is well, Tataka is a lake, artificial lake. Vapi is a step well. Kupa is just a well, to get water. But all of these, if it is built for the good of the community, for communities, goodness, that is called Purta Karma. Okay, those are three. Then the other one is building a temple, Devata Ayatanam. This is a Purta Karma because it is making this possible out of many innumerable things possible, right? There's outreach, there is, all the festivals happening, education programs happening, dance and art happening. So when you build a Devata Ayatana, a temple like this, it becomes a merging of Jnana, Karma, Bhakti. It is there in the mission statement, Jnana, Karma, Bhakti. Right? So it was built with the intention of making this a place where Jnana Karya happens, all these lectures and all the classes and all of that, especially after the classes come, even more. Karma Karya happens, service, so many people serving so many capacities, right? Food. And then Bhakti Karya happens, and as all the arts, everything comes. So all of these, when you build one, isn't this a community for the good of the community? That's a Purta Karma. So people who are involved in doing this, they get Purta Punya of building a temple. Building a temple will bring you Punya, if it is involved in all of this. Otherwise, no. Right? So that is Devata Ayatana is there. And there's two more. Arama. So Arama means building gardens. This artificial gardens is not now. They would build gardens for, like you plant trees. That is olden times. They would have trees along the way from one place to another, for shade and all of those things. So they'd build lakes, wells, shade trees, fruit trees. Fruit trees were built so that, if you're going and you're hungry, you can go pluck without being shot and you eat. So they would plant fruit trees along the way from village to village to village. Like when somebody is going from Karnataka to Badri, it will all along the way, most of the ways, they would really, if the food was not available, they could go and pluck, or there would be a lake there. Right? If the lake was not available, at least the artificial lake would be there. Right? So all of these arrangements were there. And they were all going to be Purta Karma for those who build that. Right? So this is all built into the Vedic way of living. It's all built into it. Nothing is new. We think it's all new. It's all there from way back when they were actually building all of this. Arthashastra talks about all of this. What a king and wealthy people, how they should do all of this for the community. Build wells, water, shade trees, all of these things, they become Purta Karma. So what Shyamala is telling is your Purta Karma of all the good things you might have done, or anybody, because this is not just for Yama, it is talking about anybody. If you do not put off the fire of Vaishvanara in your Atiti, that fire is going to burn those Purta Karmas that's been accumulated. Even if you have built a lake, no use if that fire burns it. Right? So that becomes the Purta Karma. So Ishta Purte, Putra, Pashumscha. Putra, what is Putra? See, Putra is not male child. It's not a boy. Just like man is a human being, right? When you say man, it's not a male. Man is a human being. Putra is a kid. Both Putra and Putri are part of that. That means kids, yoga for kids is gone, right? Or our yoga makes the kids prosper. A lot of our yogas, all of those things are gone. Putra, Pashumscha. Pashu is the dhana. Dhana will be burnt away. Look at all of these things. Everything, all of this will be burnt away. Etad vringte purushasya alpamedhasaha. All of this he is going to lose. It's going to burn away. This Vaishvanara is going to burn away. Alpamedhasaha, that means he's an idiot. Has no intelligence. Because that is a person who does such a karma of not putting off this fire, keeping people hungry. That fire is going to burn his house, burn his, his future, burn his wealth of karmas that he has accumulated. Yasya anasnan vasati brahmano gruhe. In whose house? Who is going to lose it? In whose house? A brahmajnani, anasnan, without eating, hungry, is vasati, stays in his house hungry. The fire of that hunger is going to destroy every karma of his. The bigger the jnana of that person who is hungry, the more is your destruction. All of these are based on, all the karmas are based on yogyata. If a person who is hungry has a very high yogyata, the repercussions are going to be very high. If he's low yogyata, that means if their intelligence level, if their jnana is very low, then it's going to be lower than that. Then it will be an adrida karma, right? It's a misdemeanor. But if it's a mahajnani who is hungry, it's a felony. And that felony is going to take away all of your punya karma that has been accumulated. So now Yama is scared. So now what does, hara vaivasvatodakam. Quickly take this water, do the padya, arghya, achamani of this boy, take it. Otherwise, all the punya karma of ours will be lost. Go quickly, yes, she has said. Then Yama is now gone to the boy. And then Yama is telling the boy, Tisro ratrir yadavatsi grihe me anasnan brahman atithir namasyaha. For 3 nights, that means 3 days, it's like your, when you book a hotel, you're staying there for 3 nights, right? Which means 3 days. So Tisro Ratrihi means 3 nights you have stayed in our house, which means 3 full days. You're in a day and night. So you have with anasnan, without even eating anything. Ratri yadavat avatsihi grihe me anasnan brahman. Brahma in Samskrita is big. You are a big guy. Your jnana is so much. Your inner development is so much. Brahman atitir namasyaha. You are worthy of my worship. Yama is telling this boy, 10-year-old boy, 8 to 10 years old boy, Kumara. Yama is telling, you are worthy of my worship. And you have stayed in my house for 3 days without eating anything. Right? Namaste astu Brahman, swasti me astu. First, he is ensuring nothing bad happens. Namaste astu. I bow in front of you. Oh, Mahajnani, swasti me astu. Let good happen to me. Let that fire not destroy me. Swasti astu. Let me be good. Let me not be affected by the hunger, the fire of your belly. Let it not burn my punya karma. Right? Namaste astu. Swasti me astu. Tasmat prati trin varan vrinishva. For that prati, in Sanskrit, prati means what? In return. Right? Prati means in return. So in return for that, because you stayed in my house hungry for 3 nights, 3 days, in return for staying that, I'm going to give you 3 boons. Trin varan vrinishva. I will let you choose 3 boons. He told Nachiketa. So the firstborn. So the boy is saying, okay, first thing, firstborn. What does he say? Shanta sankalpa sumana tatha syat yatha syat vita manyur gautamo mabhi mrityo vat prasrushtam ma abhivadet pratitah yetat trayanam pratamam varam vrane. So I said in the Taitriya Brahmana, Vagdevi asks the boy to, when you stay hungry and when Yama is going to give you 3 bones, make sure the first bone is that your father is not angry. So he asks the same bone here. He say, this is Nachiketa saying in the 10th verse. Shanta sankalpa. That means where his whatever desires in his mind, let it be shanta. Let it not impel him in the wrong ways, like giving charity, not in spirit but in letter. Let it not be like that. Shanta sankalpa. Let it be peaceful. Sumana. Let his mind be pleasant. Sumana yathasyad vita manyur gautamaha. So what Gotra is this guy? Nachiketa? Gautama Gotra. So is the Gautama means born in Gautama lineage, my father. Vita Manyu. What is Manyu? What is Vita? See, in Hindi you say beat gaya, right? In Sanskrita, it's Vita. Vita means, Vita Manyu means let the anger go away. Right? So my father is of angry nature, right? Is impulsive. So let him be peaceful. Let that anger that he always has, let that go away, right? Sumana, let him be pleasant in his mind. Vita Manyuhu Gautamo Ma Abhi Mrityo. Ma Abhi Mrityo means what he's saying now? When he sees me, so the boy is saying, I have not come here permanently. You are going to send me back. When he sees me, ma abhi, when he sees me, let him be pleasant nature. That means when I encounter my dad again, he should be pleasant nature. He should not have any anger issues. Right? That is how I want my dad to be, my father to be. Right? Ma abhi mrityo. Hey mrityo. Let my father be like that when he sees me again. Ma abhi means.
Is this not a flaw here? Because when you say you have given a dana, that means you have taken away your you have taken away your ownership from that dana. Okay. So now Nachiketa.
Who's given dana?
That is what Nachiketa believes, right? He has given him to, that is his belief, right?
He is
believing that my father has given me away as danam to Yama.
Yeah.
That means I'm not going to go back to my father, right? Why is he now saying that I'm going to go back?
He's not useful to, that's what he says, right? Bahunam emi pratamaha, bahunam emi madhyamaha, kim swid yamasya kartavyam. Yama has no use of me. So he knows that one day I have to go back. When I go back, when he encounters me, let my father not have anger issues. Let him be pleasant. Right? So let him be pleasant. Tvat prasrishtam ma abhivadet pratitaha. Etat trayanam pratamam varam prane. So among the 3, this is my firstborn. Tvat prasrishtam. The boy is saying, you will send me back. You have no use for me. So when this is done, when you send me back, when I go, he's not saying when I go back, he says, when you send me back and my father encounters me, let him be pleasant-minded. Let him, let him lose his anger issues, right? Then he goes again, yatha purastat. No, he says, abhivadet pratita. That means let him, so this is, if without knowing the previous story, he says, let him speak to me as if he recognizes me from before. What do you think this is? When I go back, after you send me, when I go back, when I go talk to my father, let him recognize me.
Let him forget that he has been angry with me.
No, not to me.
Meaning not as Nachiketa.
Pratita, no. Like for example, like you went to what, Malaysia? When you came back, Pratita,
Yes.
I recognized you, right? We talked like before.
Right.
That is,
Okay.
when you come back, you're not a stranger. Who are you? I didn't say that, right? So that means you're Pratita. That means I recognized you. So what Nachiketa is saying is, let my father recognize and talk to me pleasantly when I go back. Why?
Because when he left from there, his father was angry with him.
Then what happened? He died. The Mahabharata and Purana says what? He's holding his father, his Nachiketa's body, and he's crying. What did I do to this boy? He's dead. I found him dead. He's still crying. Even though in his dreams it's 3 days, which would have been 3 years here, because it's still his vision. He's gone and come back. Right? Basically, he's gone and come back. So when when a dead body is there, suddenly it gets up. Are you going to love it or run away?
He will run away.
Let him not run away. This is not a bhuta pishacha. No. Let him know that I have come back in this body. Right? And that's what the Purana says. As he's crying over his son, he wakes up in the morning. And then the father is happy. He recognizes him. He's pleasant. So all of these happen in different fragments of the story. But that's what it is. Pratita means the father. For the father, he is not somebody. It's not some ghost coming to the body. He knows that his son has returned to the body, and that's his son. So Yama, he says, Yama, let him not be angry with me. Let him talk to me pleasantly, and let him recognize me as me when I enter the body again, when you send me back. Right? And then he continues. Yatha, okay, Etat Trayanam Pratamam Varam Vrine Yatha Purastad Bhavita Pratitaha Auddalakir Arunir Mat Prasushtaha Sukham Ratrihi Shayita Vitamanyuhu Tvam Dadrushivan Mrutyumukhat Pramuktaha. So he already knows that he's gone into the jaws of death. So Mrutyumukhat Pramuktaha, that means from the jaws of death he's been brought back. He's been brought back, right? Mrutyumukhat Prasishtaha. What does he say? Mrutyumukhat Pramuktaha. That means he's been freed from the jaws of death. Even though he's not died his natural death, he's gone by himself. When the father sees that he has come back from the jaws of death, he's come back from the jaws of death, Sukham Ratrihi Shayita Vitamanyuhu. Let him, when you are angry, how long do you sleep?
Can't think.
Experience? So, Vitamanyuhu, when you lose your anger, you can Sukham Shayita, you'll have a good sleep. Let my father, who's struggling to sleep, or because of his anger issues, when that issues are gone, he will sleep peacefully. Sukham Shayita, peacefully, and let him sleep. Auddalakir Arunir Mas Prasushtaha. That means, who's he? Uddalaka. Now, see, the first name was what? Vajashravasaha, Vajashrava's grandson. Now, Auddalaki, it's Uddalaka's grandson. So that his grandfather was also Uddalaka. His name is also Uddalaka. There's a tradition where they name the son with the grandfather's name. That's happened here. Uddalaka was also Vajashrava's name. Uddalaka is also this guy. Auddalaki means this Uddalaka is Uddalaka's grandson. Aruni? Aruna's son. Aruna is, what is his father's name?
Aruna is a female, right? Mother.
Mother. What is his father's name?
They haven't given it.
We don't know. You don't have to read. So in the ancient tradition, those who had jnana were recognized. If mother was Jnani, mother's name would continue. Father was Jnani, father was. Nobody knows what the father's name is of Nachiketa. I mean, Uddalaka's father, we don't know. Uddalaka's grandfather, we know. Uddalaka's mother, we know, Aruna. Uddalaka's father, we don't know. So this is Uddalakir. Aruna is Uddalaka's grandson, who is also Uddalaka. His name is the same. Aruna's son. Let him have all of this, like peaceful sleep in the night, leave the anger, and be present when I'm gone back to my father again. Right? So yatha purastat bhavita pratitaha. Just like before, let him recognize me and love me like before. So this is his first boon. Right? So first things he asks is, let my father be all right. Right? So that it's not that he is angry with his father. He is like, such a great jnani, but he's missing the spirit of Shastras. Right? So I want to make sure that he is well. His defects are his anger. Let that cool down. Let him sleep well. Let him be pleasant. And let him be like before with me, loving. Even though he considered him waste, but he loved his son. So let him still be loving when I go back to the same body and then emerge back. Right? So that is his, what is the time?
12:15.
Okay. So we will do a couple of, one more mantra, and then we'll stop at the second boon. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that is 11th one. Okay, I'll introduce the second boon, then we'll take it up on 7th. May 7th is the last class. So we'll take that up. But then he goes to the second boon. Second one, he says, Swarge loke nabhayam kinchanasti. Natatra tvam na jaraya bibheti. Ubhe tirtva ashanaya pipase. Shokadiko modate swarga loke. So now personal things are gone. Now he's like, I want to know about this Swarga. This is called as the Swarga Agni Vidya. What is the context of this? Is you would have many times you would have said, I'm not ritualistic, I'm only very spiritual. Right? How many of you said that? Have said that before?
Yes, like,
I have said that.
I said that's the passion for him just to say it.
Oh, I don't believe in any rituals. I'm a very spiritual person. All these new age gurus, that's what they what update?
Believes.
Beliefs, not really ritualistic, very spiritual, but I don't believe in rituals, right? That's a fashion. They don't know about ritual or spiritual. Simply because somebody says that, they'll also say that.
Grapes are sour. Grapes are sour.
So, but rituals were at some point of time also devoid of higher meaning. Right? Even in Gita, if you see, Krishna says, Veda Vadarataha, right? Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. All of the Vedic, see, all the Vedic Samhitas, they are the mantras. What is Yajurveda? All the mantras of the Rig Veda, where it should be used in a ritual. That is there in the Yajurveda. This is the Yajurveda, right? Katopanishad, Yajurveda. But this is Upanishad Bhaga. But if you look at the Samhita Bhaga, those mantras are which homa, when you are doing, at what point, which mantra needs to be used. When you call the deity, this mantra, like for example, when you're doing a Ganesha Puja, the Prana Pratisthapana, there's a mantra for that, right? Prana Pratisthapana. So like that, different rituals, parts of different rituals have different mantras that have to be used. All the Veda Samhitas, talk about this. But at some point of time in the Gita, it mentions in the Gita that people would use these mantras for the Devatas, which is equivalent to, today, I'm going through a lot of difficulty. Let me do what? Navagraha Shanti. That is what? That is like this. You're not going to Krishna. You're going to Shani. Right? So people want a quick fix. They're not looking at a higher big picture. Right? That is. So Veda Vadarataha is what? Krishna says, all the mantras, if you look at all the Rigveda mantras, it is basically about Agni and Indra only. Vishnu, or I think there are only 5 suktas about Vishnu. Everything is Agni suktas and all of Indra suktas. And that's why, if you look at our British friends, they said Vedic period was all about the Devatas. And then all the Vishnu and Shiva and all of them are new figures that came in post-Vedic period. They are post-Vedic inventions. That is what they said, right? So, but if you look at the Veda, the Samhitas, it's about Indra, Agni, Varuna, all of those things. That's what most of the majority is there. Rudra is also there, but there is no, it's not like that many for Indra and Agni. So many of them is Indra, Agni, Pavamana Suktas. So all of these are there. So one would ask the question, where is Vishnu? Only 5. So he's a minor deity. To the extent that I have read, one of the names of Vishnu is what? Upendra. Upendra. What is Upa Indra?
It's close to
No, Upa Indra means what? Not assistant to Indra. Young, right? Vamana is, see, Aditi's 12 sons. The eldest is Indra, the youngest is Vamana. So Upa Indra. But what they said is, Indra was the king before in the Veda, and that's the one you're going to see. But Vishnu came later on. That is why he's Upendra. He was Indra's assistant before. Now he becomes a major deity. That is how Hinduism has grown. And that's what they are teaching in schools. Be careful. I'm going through that experience now. Because my son is 6th grade. So Indian history started with Sati. Not even Sati. He said, do you know Satai? What are you asking? Satai. You know, they burn the lady, the girl, and all that. Sati. So the teacher doesn't even know it's Sati, right? Satai. Oh, is he here? You're talking about issue. Oh, they're in the car. Okay. So they're talking about in the history. They're talking about in the India, right? So in Indian history is Sati, pollution of Ganga. What else? 2 or 3 more things. Everything is bad.
Caste
Caste system was maybe caste system. Yeah,
Worship of cows.
cows I don't know. He didn't ask about cows.
And then Brahma and all his mythology is not a real thing.
Yeah. That probably in the high school they'll say bigger. They'll go bigger into
It's not real.
So when they come back from school, they're like, Amma, were they burning women in India? So if unchecked, if let's think of the parents that do not know anything, are not interested, what would happen? They are going to grow as self-loathing kids. If you see kids not coming to the temple, not joining anywhere here, the reason is you have not checked and balanced what they're going to teach in the school. You have to build the context, a counter. I was telling you, I'm going to come talk to your teacher, your social studies teacher. But first of all, it's the Satai. What is Satai? Right? Well, then what are they now? They're teaching about China. They invented this way. I said, where is Indian inventions? It is not part of the chapter. Where is not?
India, it was not part of the
Yeah.
Okay. So what would the world know?
Yeah. I was like, where is do you know the math? From 1st grade to 10th grade, it's all Indian math. Only then you'll see later developments.
Nobody knows that.
Nobody
Indian
knows.
People got into Middle East and then it became.
Yeah, it becomes an Arabic numeral system, right? So that is the thing. So the kids have been brainwashed. Satai, Mr. Ishan. What is Satai? Right? So this is happening in the schools, and you're much further along. I don't know what your son is asking.
We have all of these discussions, so you have to give the whole context.
You have to give the whole context. Yeah. So this is what is going on, right? If unchecked, the story that would dominate in their minds would be the story they have been given in the schools. And that story makes you self-loathing. You don't want to be identified or be part of a civilization that is all of that. I don't want to be. Right? If India is Satai and pollution of Ganga and caste system and all of these things, who would want to identify? So you are made to hate your own roots, right? That's going on. So that is what, there's a lot of, HCW part of that in the education program. We should be doing things to, EYS and all of that to counter this. All these years I didn't know because it was not me, not in our house, right? But now we are one by one, we are seeing, right? What happens and all of that. So if you have still not come to that situation, you have to do something about it. And that's the reason why, so to counter this, I've proposed, Raj Vedam, right? Raj Vedam, he will probably in August or sometime, he will come here and specifically address. So we want another counter story. This is a story in the textbook. What is the counter story? So he's going to give another story. So they have these two stories in their mind, one that competes with the other, because you always need to have competing stories. One story will always win. Competing stories are, you need to create that confusion, the trouble, so they can question one story and the other story. So that is what we want to do with the help of Mr. EYS president. So that's what we want to do in those education sessions and all of that.
But going back to your point, you said in Puranas they
Yeah.
Vishnu is not represented. So how do you counter that?
Yeah, so that is true. The name is not there. Karthik. So in the Purusha Sukta, so I always talk, ask him because the Purusha Sukta, the Narayana portion of the Purusha Sukta. Yo Devanam Namadha Eka Eva Sabrahma Sashiva Saharis Sendro Paramaswarat. So all the names first apply to Paramatma first. So he is Namadha and Namada. In Sanskrita, Dha. What does Dha mean and what does Da mean?
Da is for giving, Da is for dying.
Dharana. That means having. So Yo Devanam Namadha Eka Eva. Yo Devanam Namada Eka Eva. What does it mean? It means he who bears the names of all the deities himself. It is first his name. And he has given his name to Indra. He has given his name to Agni. So whenever it is Agni, in the highest sense, it's always Parabrahma.
In Bhagavatam, it's clearly stated this Vishnu is three Vishnus, Garbhodakshi Vishnu, Shirodakshi Vishnu, and so many.
No, it basically, Sabrahma, Sashiva, that means the name Shiva first applies to him, then to Shiva. The name Brahma applies to him, then to Brahma. Sahari, Sa Indraha, the Indra applies to him first. Then why? Because etymologically, if you look at that, in the highest, what does Indra mean?
India.
He is the leader, the master. Indra is the master. So whenever I say leader, it can be a mayor of the town, city. It can be the governor of the state. It can be the president of the country. So who is the real leader? The president of the country. Then governor is the leader. Then the local leader is the leader. Then the local. So the leader applies to everybody. But then in the highest sense, it applies to one person, the president of the country. So the same way, Indra means he who is the master. And it applies to only one person, Parabrahma. That is what he's going to ask here. Agni, when he's saying Svargagni Vidya, Agni, what does Agni mean?
Messenger.
That's why Agni relates with
No, Agni Dutam is what he does. But Agni, etymology of Agni is what?
Is it the real Brahman?
See, Agani. Agni is Agani. What is Ga? In Sanskrita, Ga means to move, right? English go is also Sanskrita go, Ga. So the Aga means what? Sanskrit teacher is here.
the one that's not moving.
Unmoving, right? Ni is what? Niyamana.
Niyamana, taking.
So that which cannot move by itself, he who takes it, pulls it. Agni, Agni. That means the world, and that's if you go back to Ishavasya Upanishad, Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagata tena tyaktena bunjitaha magrita kasya siddhanam. So he is Isha Avasyam idam jagat. Why? This whole world, whole of creation is inert by itself. It is Aga. Right? It is Aga. Unless Isha moves it, then everything becomes active. Therefore, that is why he is Agani. That's it. This says Lokadim Agnim. It talks about that. So then, in that sense, Agni is not Agni. Agni came now. Where is Agni? In the Panchabhuta. Where is Lokadi Agni? There is no Agni in the beginning of creation. Agni is the Panchabhuta creation. So then, who is that Agani? He who moves that which cannot move by itself. Whole creation. Only one Paramatma. That is Agni. Then there is another, there's a lot of etymological. Agranitvat Agnihi. Agrani. First. He was the, like if the Veda, Rigveda Sukta starts with which Sukta? Agni Sukta. Purohitam, right? So Agni Sukta. So Agni is the first one. Agranitvat, he is the eldest. The first one. The foremost. Who is the foremost? Not Agni. He's foremost to us because he is the messenger between us and the Devata Loka, right? So for us, he is the foremost. Our first contact is with which Devata? Agni Devata. For us, he is Agrani. But for everybody, Paramatma is Agrani. The foremost among everything is what? Paramatma. So he's Agni in that sense. So in etymological sense, every name is the name of Paramatma. Allah. Etymologically, in Sanskrita, Allah means mother. So it is also a name of Paramatma. So any name is made up of sounds. And every sound has a meaning in Sanskrita. And that is the whole thing. The play of all of the Vedanta is to make the meaning. And then also talk about different meanings of these words. Right? Antariksha. What is Antariksha? Antariksha is the outside. It is also Antariksha, Ikshanam. Seeing, he who is seen inside is also Antariksha. Oh, now space's name is also his name. Space is space. But he is also one who is seen from inside. So he's also Antariksha. Antariksha. So every etymological sense of every word, not just in Sanskrit, in any language, is the name of God. Aitareya Aranyaka says, even the sounds of animals have meaning and they are praising the glory of God. Why all so many names?
We are seeing God in different forms. There
That's
are
fine.
23 gods that
No, we are here not. We are not talking about that God. We are talking about there's one God. God. One. That's Paramatma. 33 is Devatas. Right? We call everybody God. Paramatma is also God. Bhagavan is also God. Devata Shakti is also God. But all of these are very different. Devata means a deity. They're not God. So if you call deity God, then Paramatma is not God. He's something else. It's too different. It's like calling ant the same name as elephant. That's a language problem of English or how we use it. But it's not the problem of Sanskrit. Sanskrit has two different names. Paramatma is different from Devata. So that's what it is. So that's not one is God, other is not God. Right? So Paramatma is one. Paramatma is one God. There is one God, one Paramatma. There are innumerable Devata Shaktis. Right? So 33 is the Devata Shaktis. The primary Devatas are 33. The Ashtavasu, Ekadasha Rudra, and then Dvadasha Aditya, and then Prajapati and all that. Indra Prajapati. So these are the 33 Devatas. So that is different. They are Devatas. But Paramatma is one. How many gods are there? Ishan? So it's one. Paramatma, Brahman, Bhagavan, it's all one. Devata, innumerable. Coming back to that, right? Why so many
Our
names?
experience, in the sense, meaning you have to distill, since God is not visible, experienceable in, what do you call, through your simple available senses. So you have to translate that to something you can recognize.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
So whatever you said,
uh,
right?
uh,
Not visible, that is a name. Adrishyaha, Adrishta, that's a name of God. Then what else you say?
Perceivable, I mean.
Yeah, right? So whatever you said, these are all names. But what are you expressing? The gunas.
Gunas of God, yes.
He is infinite gunas. Therefore, it should be infinite names. One name cannot capture. Okay, Brahman is saying, oh, it's a big. But it's not capturing. Okay, big. He is Adrishya. Oh, it's beyond the Indriyas. Atindriya, it's a name. Atindriya is a name of God. Right? So now you're knowing, oh, why all these names? Because each one is picking out different characteristics, gunas of Paramatma. Even bad names are his name. You know that, right? Dukhi. If I say he bears all names, Dukhi is also name. Paramatma is Dukhi. Why not? It's also a name. Is he Dukhi? He is. It's a name.
Only to give it all what he's saying.
No. Huh? No, he's Dukhi. Dukhi is a name. Right? Let's say Dukhi is a name. So, and I said you can use any words, any shabda, is Paramatma's name, picking out his guna. Dukhi is also his name.
Then that will apply to all names like Duryodhan, Dushasana, and all that as well.
Also Paramatma. Vishnu is Dukhi. You're confused. Yeah. Right? Why? See, the Shastras say, good names, bad names, all names are the names of Paramatma, but the etymological sense of these things are not the same. For us, Dukhi means what? With the Dukkha. So, for example, Dhani, you're rich, right? There are two kinds of Dhanis. He who owns the Dhana, he who has the Dhana. In our old banks, the cashier, is he a Dhani? He's a Dhani. He is in the middle of all the cash. Is he a Dhani? Why? He does not own that money that he is handing out, somebody else's money. Who is the owner? The owner is also Dhani, not in the same sense. The owner is the owner of this money. So he is Dhani. The person who is in the midst of the money, he does not own anything. He's also Dhani. So Dukhi, we are Dukhi because we are suffering that Dukkha. He is Dukhi because he is the owner of that Dukkha. So the one who owns the Dukkha does not suffer the Dukkha. He gives the Dukkha. That which I own, I control. I don't suffer from it. So we don't own it. We don't own our suffering. That's the problem. We have the suffering. He owns the suffering. Now you know. So even the bad names are the names of Paramatma. But the Vedas say, do not meditate on, because all worship is guna anusandhana. That means you're picking out each of these properties and characteristics and then imagining that in God, do not use negative gunas. So even though you know what the meaning is, the Veda, there is a nishiddha of using baddha, who's tied, right? That is also, we are baddha, he is also baddha. But he's a baddha in a different sense. Right? So what it says is you should not be using negative connotations for your meditations, or only use positive connotations. Right? And I'll tell you why in the next class, but that's what it is. So even though all the names apply, the names that you need to do for sadhana and worship and meditation are the names that are positive characteristics. Because that which you worship, what happens to us?
You become that.
Yes. When you look at Paramatma as great, the greatness within us comes up. So that is what it says in the sadhana. It should be positive characteristics. Do not do the sadhana of negative characteristics. Dukhi, baddha, that you shouldn't do that. But every word, including Aramaic, or all of this Arabic, all of these words, the words will have Samskrita roots, and that roots will make that word. Every word is the name of God. Every word is the name of God. So Agni is the name of God, Indra is the name of God, all Samskrita names are the name of God, Cha is the name of God, Ha is the name of God. Why is God Ha? He's a surprise. Right? He is a big surprise. That's a Ha. He's Ha. What? He makes the world suffer for their bad deeds. He's a Ha. So like that, if you look at all of the Vedic, all the Upanishads, it's picking out these characteristics, and it plays with this. Because when you look at the statements where it says, oh, he is a dukhi and all of that, you're like, oh, what is this? Why is it saying that? But it is playing with these words. Once you have the master key and then you open that, oh, he's a master of dukkha, so he's dukhi, then everything becomes obvious. So all of the Upanishads, by at the superficial level, it's very, very confusing. But when you have the key, then you go decode it, then you go down into that hidden parts of it. It's fantastic. It's it will tell you a lot more. So there is a saying in the Vedas, Paroksha priyahi devaha pratyaksha dvishaha. So this is a rule that we should keep in mind to understand all of the Vedic literature. That means all the devatas hate that which is obvious. Paroksha priya, the pratyaksha dvishaha. Like, straightforward. Oh, dukkha means master of, dukhi means master of dukkha. That's why he is. That's very straightforward. You will also understand, everybody will understand. Devas hate it. Pratyaksha dvishaha. They love that which is hidden. That sounds different, that means something else. Para-aksha means that which is not obvious, that which is hidden in plain sight. That is what devas love. Devas love riddles, puzzles, not very obvious, that they love. So that's what all the Vedic literature is. Whenever you think it, like you know superficially what it is, you miss the point, because that is not the real meaning. There is a hidden meaning behind that, right? So with that, we'll stop. And then next week, we don't have the class. 2 weeks from now, we'll have the last class of season 17. This is the 17th year. When we come back in August, we'll start season 18 with the second, later. I think we'll not finish the second boon in the next class, but then whatever is left, because the third one is the big one. The whole of the Upanishad is about the third boon. Okay, so with that we'll stop.
Is it
Any
what is
questions?
called the Vachyartha, the Nakshatra, the hidden meaning, and
Yeah, one is obvious meaning, right? One is kind of, it is pointing to it. But then, you need to know where it's pointing, right? There's something called as a, in Samskrita, there's a Nyaya. There's something called as Arundhati Nyaya. To show in the Saptarishi, Arundhati, you show that which is bright. And then you say, go from there, then go, let's say, that one which you see, that is it. So that's called Arundhati Nyaya, is you go from what is obvious to the hidden. So Veda is completely like that. Everything is like a puzzle. Especially if you go to Vedic Samhitas, actually wanted to play there's a Samhita, Nachiketa, Yama Nachiketa story is one Rigveda Samhita, and the 10th mandala is there. Well, let me see if I can. It's already 12:30. Yes. This one. So it is saying if you read the English translation of this, and it's a 10th mandala, 10.135, 10th mandala, 135th sukta. It is the 7 sukta, 7 riks. Boy and Yama is the sukta. So there is a boy that goes to Yama, and then it says, "Oh, you have come, to me, who are on the trees, enjoying the fruits of the tree." Say, what is this? The tree is the body. So all the Devata Shaktis are in the body, right? All the workings in the organ. So all the Devatas are there. Yama is inside us. All the Devata, Agni is inside us. Indra is inside us. All the karma that we do, they're, drinking the good fruits of those. They're enjoying. All the Devatas are enjoying those good fruits. So this talks about that. He says, and he says, my father has built a manoratha. That means he's Ushan, that in the Upanishad, the first word. But that is going in the wrong direction. I want to bring him back. It says that, right? So this is a mantra drishti of, I don't know who. Kumar, probably it's a Nachiketa drishta mantra. This mantra in the Rig Veda, 10th mandala, where he's saying that my father has gone in the evil path with his desire. I want to bring him back. I'll send the link for this Rig. So just seven rigs of this sukta. 10th mandala, 135th sukta. Kumara sukta. So it's a boy that goes to Yama. Beautiful. But if you read the English translation, it is like a puzzle. Who is saying what? Why is saying? Saying, the desire's chariot is going. The mind of the chariot. Manoratha is a desire, right? The English translation is the chariot of the mind. The boy's chariot of the mind. Oh my goodness. Right? So that's right. So and we are depending on the English translation to understand. So where will our understanding be? Their misunderstanding is a book through which we are understanding our own selves. God save us. Which God? Devata or Brahman? Okay. Any question before we end? Everything is good?
So
God-
the tagline of our class is own your suffering.
Control your suffering. Own your suffering. Right. Own the suffering. Yeah. That which you own will not bother you. Right. That which you don't own bothers you. That which we don't control bothers us. That which you control doesn't bother us. That's the thing. Right?
And which is all illusion of control. Nothing.
We don't control it.
That's correct. That's the illusion. Everything is illusion of control. And the only thing that's in our control is what we can do. Everything is not in our control. Right? That's the whole of Gita is that. Okay. So let's finish it with the Shanti mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.